So we imagine that anyone who's interested in postgraduate study in linguistics already has a strong sense of the factors that underpin human language and communication. But you'll want to find out more, for example, about how we perceive and produce language, how language works as an organisational structure and discourse, how language is an index to and a shaper of cultural and societal factors. And you'll also want to find out how to collect and produce meaningful analyses of data in its spoken and written form.
So I suppose there are two sides to the sorts of skills that our students acquire. There's the skills that are specific to linguistics and to the fact that they've come to study this subject in perhaps a more in-depth way than they've done before. Some of them might have come from backgrounds where they've done a little bit of linguistics mixed in with another subject like English or a modern language or something else. And so I suppose what we're doing is giving them the chance to really focus on linguistics in depth for a year and give them that opportunity they might not have had before, so to deepen those skills and that knowledge that they might already have acquired.
In addition to courses focused on linguistics, our students can also take modules and courses on the parallel Masters in Translation, since these two programs shared interests in language and communication and cognition. On top of these linguistic modules, students can also study various practical forms of translation, audiovisual translation, technical or literary translation, as well as various aspects of translation and interpreting theory. We encourage a lot of collaboration and partnership between parallel master's programs in the school.
So on the MA in Linguistics, we have a really wide range of teaching staff drawn from across our school. We have staff from translation and interpreting who contribute to the programme with their modules. We have staff from modern languages and the different kinds of linguistics that they do there. That is everything from onomastics and place names through to sociolinguistics. And then we have staff from the English side of the school, and that includes myself and others who work in syntax, discourse analysis, critical discourse analysis, phonetics. So we really do cover the whole range of linguistic levels, and then all of those different languages as well that are involved.
I really loved the discourse analysis module that I did in the first semester. It was an interesting kind of balance of like theories that I had covered at undergrad level, but I was seeing them applied to texts and to discourse in a way that I hadn't at undergrad. It was an interesting, seeing a very real world application of the work that I had learned when I was younger. And I found that really interesting, and it sort of opened up aspects of linguistic study that I hadn't really considered before, that I wasn't really exposed to at undergrad.
During the course I have learned a lot of new skills to do with the research modules. So the research modules have taught me how to carry out my own research, which isn't something that I would have known how to do previously, which has opened up the possibility for me to go into further research after my master's, which is very exciting.
I was actually really intrigued by the Krill presentations that were held in the past semester, which were just presentations by different professionals in the linguistics field. There was one professional that talked about his work with translating and multimodal translation services that he did, and it just showed me a lot of other ways that you can take linguistics after education.
In Queen's we have a long-standing research project, which is the Northern Ireland Place Name Project, which is a research project on researching the origins and linguistic meanings of our corpus of local place names. And we have a massive database with about 30,000 names in it, and for most of those names, or particularly the older ones, there are references going back the best part of 1500 years, historical references taken from a variety of sources. We continually have people working on that project as postdoctoral students, and sometimes indeed as master's students. Our project gives people the opportunity to come from their own specific backgrounds with people who are interested in research, to engage with our data in ways that will be of interest to them. Our project does give the opportunity to test some of the things that you might do in this master's programme on real data.
We welcome students who have a range of backgrounds that are germane to language and linguistics. So some students may have studied French, Irish, for example, and they'll have some understanding of language structures which they can use as a way into understanding linguistics. We also welcome students who perhaps don't have the traditional qualifications in language and linguistics, but whose work has exposed them to, for instance, communication needs. And we have a process for recognising those perhaps alternative qualifications as an entry route to our MA. So we welcome students particularly those who recognise the distinctiveness of our programme across the areas represented in the School of Arts, English and Languages, and we promise a rewarding and rigorous postgraduate experience.